Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm here in an undisclosed area, and guess what? We have it. This is a slightly refreshed 2020 Volkswagen Passat. This particular one is the SEL trim. But before we dive into Volkswagen's midsize sedan, let's talk about the Passat. Passat's been around since 1970s, if you could believe that. And boy, oh boy, has the landscape in the auto industry changed so much. Now, of course, there's still big competition in this segment of the market, coming from Toyota, coming from Honda, Mazda, Hyundai, and Kia. Volkswagen wants to take that wonderful, unique German styling and kind of put a little bit of a redesign, kind of refresh to it, but also offer a lot of interior space and some new technology on the inside of this Passat. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this 2020 Passat SEL and see, is it the midsize sedan you should be buying? Right off the bat, what I love about this Passat is the color. It's this nice dark blue, really fits it to a T when it comes to styling. Now, starting off on the headlight design, you can see that we have everything on the interior is blacked out. You're gonna have your LED daytime running lamps, turn signals, and you have that projector beam style headlight. I like the shape of the design, and I also have always liked on many of Volkswagen's models how they integrate the grille into the headlight housing. They actually take the chrome trim from the grille and bring it atop the headlight housing and even integrate it into this lower corner here. Now, as we drop down, I am gonna have to give it a zonk. There's no functionality to this. So there's no side air curtain, obviously no fog lamps. On an SEL trim, it would be nice to have at least some fog lamp action going on there. But what I do like is how they have a nice design element where they separate it at this bottom portion. And as we come across that Volkswagen logo smack dab in the center, you're gonna have all those chrome horizontal slots, very, very clean styling, and definitely unmistakable Volkswagen. When we drop down, you're gonna have your flat black, super clean as well, and that lower section almost becomes a little bit of a low lip spoiler in a way, but it's all one piece front facing. Now, when we get up onto the hood, I'm liking the body lines. You actually have two that rise ever so slightly and then disappear as you get to the windscreen. And then you have two that go a little bit on the outside of that area. And then of course, you're gonna have the traditional that goes right towards the A-pillar, but everything flowing from forward to back, very, very smooth, very clean. When we come around the bend, we have some new wheel designs for 2020. So on this Passat SEL, this is the design you're gonna get. It is an 18-inch wheel, machined aluminum, gloss black, very, very clean, and I think it falls in a line from the other brands that are challenging. It almost looks like a wheel from a Nissan Altima, which, remember, Altima is another mid-size sedan, but it's very clean. Really think from the side, that very prominent fender line that they build in really gives us some definition. And as we work our way down, you're gonna get color matched on the mirror caps, slim and trim, LED turn signals, a little bit of chrome finish along the top and the bottom. This one has your standard size sunroof. You have a blacked out shark fin antenna, and even the way they worked the lower sill, it's all about giving the styling some definition, because these cars can get lost in the sea of midsize sedans. And I think Volkswagen brought just enough to kind of say, hey, we're German, this is our unique styling, this is our midsize sedan. Now, as we work our way towards the rear, that rear quarter window, nice triangular shape to it, the way it flares out on the backside, and then following that belt line to the tail end of the business is gonna be clean once again. So we have that updated Volkswagen badge, the Passat name on the trunk. Normally, I'm not a big fan of emblems, but it actually is working for me. I wish what they would have done was taken a chrome strip and ran it in between the taillights. I think that would really connect it with what's going on at the front end of the business. We do have your LED taillights, very nicely integrated. And then as you work your way down the other zonk, just like those lower corner areas of the front fascia, you do have fake exhaust on this Passat. I'd rather them just clean up this look here and just have the exhaust hidden. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this 2020 Passat. All right, guys, the great news for 2020, besides the redesign, or I should say the refresh, is also gonna be lower prices. The 2020 Passat is actually cheaper than the 2019. Now, underneath the hood, what are we gonna find? You do have that prop rod, which I am gonna zonk, because it's kind of like right in the middle of the way. But other than that, you are looking at that 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, 174 horsepower, 206 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. MPGs, 23 in the city, 34 on the highway. The car weighs 3,325 pounds, 0 to 60 in about 7.8 seconds, and a top speed of 130 miles an hour. So the great news is no CVT or anything to mess with this transmission. You're getting a 6-speed automatic. I think it would have been a little nicer for Volkswagen to bring over their 8-speed, the more popular 8-speed automatic, but definitely decent MPGs for what you're getting out of this 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine. Why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see what changes are in store for 2020. All right, guys, we're inside the Passat, that midsize sedan. I know you're at that point, you're like, Joe, I'm looking for a new midsize. I'm not really wanting an Accord or a Camry. I'm kind of liking the look of this German Volkswagen Passat. How much is it? MSRP for the way that this SEL trim is optioned is right at $32,015. Let's see what you get for the money. Now, to the door panel up top is soft touch material. I do like that faux wood design that they brought in. It's a nice dark wood, which is great, and there's no kind of veneer or shine to it. Very simplistic on the armrest. The armrest is actually pretty soft for a German vehicle. And then the door pocket there is large enough. I'd say you'd be able to get a Subway 12-inch cold cut combo, hold the pickles and mayo with a bottle of water to wash it all down. Now the dash, what's great about the dash is everything is very far forward. It's a nice flat dash until you get over to the gauges, obviously. Look at how they integrated the design nicely into the AC vents. More of that wood trim. Let's open up the glove box. Pretty good amount of space. You could fit 2 boxes of Twinkies in there. That's how large that area is. Close it up, and now we're talking infotainment. So this is a 6.3-inch infotainment system screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You could go into your menu feature real easily. It's got that nice swipe feature. Does it have navigation? Of course, there's your navigation. It is on the smaller side though. It's a 6.3-inch screen. It would have been nicer to have a little bit larger screen, but I'm gonna put it into reverse. There's your backup camera, no trajectory, which is a little bit of a bummer, but you do get great parking sensors that really allow you to navigate tight spots when you're parking. You have your dual climate control, heated seats, no ventilated seats. Your AC control is easy to get to. You have a nice little cubby down here. Now you have a USB and a 12 volt. This isn't a wireless charging pad. It would have been nice at $32,000 to have a wireless charging pad, but the good news is you could put a couple Snickers down there. So easily 3 Snickers bars, regular size. Don't go king size because you're just gonna crack your nuts all over the place. So just leave the Snickers regular size. This is for the 6-speed automatic transmission, real easy to get to. Quite a few fake buttons, which is surprising on an SEL trim, but you know, it is what it is. Your start stop button, a little bit of gloss black. You got a good old fashioned e-brake, 2 cup holders, and then you got a little cubby here for some Jolly Ranchers, maybe a breath mint or 2. Armrest, it's on the firmer side, but I do like the stitching. We open this up, what do we have? You have a container where you could easily take, I would say 8 Twinkies, stack them up, like stand them up, and you could have them in there, easy access. Close that up, seats. You got full leather, love the stitch work, like the design coming down the center. And what's great is they have a very, very wide lower portion to fit many body types, which I think is going to be comfortable for many people. And then you got plenty of headroom in here. I think the smartest thing they did was they went lighter with the headliner, kind of makes it a little bit airy. And then you have your standard size sunroof, which is real nice, little extra touch to have. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Volkswagen Passat. All right, guys, another nice option that this one has is the Fender audio system. So that's a nice touch, especially if you like rocking out to your favorite tunes inside your midsize sedan. Here's your key fob, that older style key fob. It's got the switchblade key in case your battery's dead. But on the back, you do have remote start. You could pop the trunk, lock and unlock, and then you have the panic button on the side, and then you have the Volkswagen. I actually like the older style key fobs like this one better than the new ones. They actually have a nicer weight to them and stuff. Speaking of nice, you have some brushed aluminum with the Passat name stamped in there, and then seat controls. You have 3 memory seat settings, lower lumbar, which is wonderful. Obviously, easy to move the seat very nicely. Like I said, I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of room in here. Steering wheel, it is manual tilting and telescoping, but it's got a nice thickness to it. I like the gloss black, just enough, very tasteful on the horn button. And then the dash, easily laid out. You have a small digital display in the center where you could toggle through a whole all-you-could-eat buffet of information. And then you're gonna have the analog tach, speedometer, coolant gauge, and fuel gauge, all nicely done. And the great news is the dash is very low. Visibility out the front is actually quite good, even with a more slanted windshield compared to other midsize sedans. But why don't we check out that back seat and see how your passengers are gonna like riding in this Passat. Guys, back seat time, and you know what? Lots of nice room. That's what I like about this midsize category, especially in this Passat, is I got a good amount of headroom, knee room, leg room. I did not move the seats. The passenger seat's actually further back than the driver's seat is, so that seat can move up. You do have pockets on the back, and I like the way it's leather all the way around, so if you have a couple ears of corn, you can put a couple ears of corn easily. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, right in the pocket. And I have a pocket for some corn over here, which is great. Love corn on the cob, by the way. So if you want to send me some, I have the Rady's Rides address for the fan mail on the community page on YouTube. So check that out. Send me some corn. No, don't really do that, but if you want to, I guess. Rear AC, you do have heated seats, which is nice. And look at this, 2 USBs. We've been in cars here on Rady's Rides that cost twice the amount of this Passat, and they don't give you any of that. So it is nice to have all that little technology right there. Armrest, ooh, nice, large, super soft, like a big old bottle of, or I should say, not a bottle, a package. If you have a bottle of Charmin, that's kind of weird, but maybe it's like a ship in a bottle. Is anybody doing that where they actually take Charmin and put it in a bottle? But anyways, maybe with the shortage that's going on. But you do have a nice soft armrest, 2 cup holders, flip it back. Feeling good? Let's check out the trunk and see how much room we have in this Passat. All right, guys, time to open up the trunk. You got a nice button right here, lifts up nicely. Very, very large and wide on the opening. You're looking at 15.9 cubic feet of space. The great news is, of course, those seats are gonna do the 60-40 split, and you have the handles to get that done right here, get those longer objects in and out of the vehicle. And I'm telling you, the amount of space you have on the width is quite respectable for a midsize sedan. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the best part. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's see how this Passat drives. All right, guys, we left our undisclosed location. We're in the 2020 Passat. Right away, like I was pointing out earlier, I love just how large of an area visibility-wise that you have as you're looking out the windshield. Also, the dash, having the dash flat and low really gives you more space, at least the feeling of space in here, than as if the dash was higher and it came out further. Back window visibility is great. All the controls are easy to get to. And you know what? Driving the car, I'm not really missing 2 extra gears. Obviously, when it comes to highway driving and lowering that RPM, having the 8-speed would definitely help with that. But really just getting out on the highway here, smooth, capable. I think that, like I said, for a mid-size sedan, this does bring a lot of those popular things that people love about Volkswagen. Side mirrors work great. You got blind spot monitoring, of course. But really, I like the steering wheel. Steering is a little light. That's one thing that I've noticed driving this over the past couple days. The steering is on the lighter side, which some people prefer. It just, for me, it makes it a little bit of a numb experience because you're not really knowing what the front end of the business is doing. But in this vehicle, there aren't different modes. There's no different drive modes or anything like that to change those parameters. Now, on throttle, drops down. And, you know, if you look at other mid-size sedans, this falls in alignment with the acceleration. It would be nice, I don't know why, but it would be nice if Volkswagen would have the GTI engine in here. 228 horsepower, I think, would change this vehicle so much and the overall driving experience that I hope down the road that is something that they do. The seats are very, very comfortable. Like I was saying, I think one of the biggest advantages are the wider cushions, the lower part and the upper part, which just makes it that much more comfortable. And even the height of the armrest and the top of the door panel, really, really nice for when you want to rest your elbows and whatnot. I'm just, when you look at the competition, they have larger screens. And I'm not saying that bigger is always better, but in this case, I really think like an 8-inch screen at least would work wonders for the infotainment system side of things, but very smooth going down the road, especially on the highway, and over the transition and bumps, it soaks everything up very nicely. And I think that's an advantage of having an 18-inch wheel over a larger 19-inch wheel with, of course, the sidewall of the tire not being so low. That also is a big plus when it comes to just overall comfort as you're driving down the road. But very, very capable, very smooth driving car as you go down the road. I just think, like I said, when the road gets a little twistier, I would like a little bit more feel, a little bit more weight in the steering, and then a little bit more horsepower. I know, you know, some cars we test on Rady's Rides already have gobs of horsepower, and they really don't need more. I would like just a little bit more power to get this midsize sedan rolling. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to our undisclosed location. Before we do that, let's do another on throttle here. So on throttle, 6-speed drops down. The shifts are very smooth, which is great news. But just like I said, overall, a little bit more power, I think, would go a very, very long way. But we're gonna wrap it up, get back to our undisclosed location. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a great day at one of our undisclosed locations. I definitely want to thank everybody over at Volkswagen for allowing Rady's Rides access to this 2020 Passat. It shows that Volkswagen is doing some fine tuning to their midsize sedan known as the Passat, bringing some of that driving technology on the interior, but also redesigning some of the exterior as well. Is it enough to be that standout midsize sedan? I think definitely it needs to be added to your list, that when you're doing your shopping, you want to stop at a Volkswagen dealership and take one of these Passats for a drive. But if it's cars like these that you want to keep seeing on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to get it at the Crown Vic. No matter what the car, no matter what the location, no matter how undisclosed it is, Crown Vic is here with his crown, ready to rock and roll. So thank you, Victor, for all your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.